Lights out and we're racing. Williams gets a clean launch off the line to lead the field through the opening sequence. A wild three-wide moment down low. Tovey, Teising and Garot throw it in side by side by side, door to door to door, as they wrestle for position. Further back, Van der Noord and Turkey go at it wheel to wheel, running side by side and trading punches for the place. Drama for Case. He'd only just squeezed past Pinheiro when he ran wide off the track, slipping from P14 all the way back to P17 as Sirkin and co both found a way through. Up front, the gap is closing. Williamson is hanging right with Williams, the leader, barely half a second between them in the fight for P1. And Lindqvist is feeling the heat from Teising, around 6/10 in arrears in the scrap for P6. Tovey and Garot are at it again, running side by side, neither willing to give an inch. Oh no, they both run off together. Tovey and Garot have excursions in unison, and that's a chunk of ground they'll have to claw back. Hunt makes the move. He dives down the inside of Turkey to take P10, a clean pass executed. Three-wide tangle developing. Hunt, Turkey and Pinheiro all scrapping for real estate around P10, no one giving an inch. Up at the sharp end, Williams is holding the lead, with Williamson tucked right under his rear wing. The gap is barely 0.3 of a second. Further back, Van der Noord and Case are running door to door, locked together in a side-by-side scrap. And now Turkey and Pinheiro are side by side, neither willing to back out of this one. Massive shot of the lead pack. 7 cars stacked together right behind Williams at the front. This is nose-to-tail racing. Case passes Pinheiro for P13. Trouble for Pinheiro. He's being towed back to the pits from P16, his race run coming to an early end. Cav and Marcu now going at it side by side, trading positions in a proper fight. Back to the front and Williams still leads, but Williamson hasn't gone anywhere. The gap sits at roughly 0.7 seconds now. Robertson and Sirkin running side by side, neither giving the other a moment's peace. Six-car pack now bunched around the lead. Williams still out front, but this is a train with everyone in touching distance. For P3, Malat is ahead of Marcu, but it's tight. Gap just under 3/4 of a second. Williamson has closed right in on Williams. The gap's collapsed to just over 2/10. This is a fight now. Things settle for a moment at the front. Williams still leads Williamson, with Mollett tucked in behind, the order holding steady. Still a measured pace up top. Williams ahead of Williamson. Mollett shadowing in third as the field catches its breath. Big moment. Sirkin runs off the track and tumbles from P10 down to P13, with Turkiya, Coe and Garot all slipping past. Still scrapping for P3, Malat leads Marcu by about half a second. The gap's been narrowing. Up at the front, Williams leads Williamson by around 3/10, a tight margin at the sharp end of the order. Further back, Cav is covering P5, with Lindqvist keeping him honest at about 7/10 adrift. Now it's Williamson and Mollett going side by side, squabbling over second place. Trouble for Williamson. He's off track, toes back to the pits, and slumps from P2 all the way down to P13. Back in the midfield, a 5-car scrap is forming around P7, with Turkiya heading the group. And here's another train, this time 3 cars bunched around P2, with Marcu at the head of it. Still congested around 7th. 4 cars in close attendance now. Turkiya continuing to lead this little train. Marcu now back ahead of Malat for P2, but the gap is tight at roughly half a second. Cav is in trouble too, off the road and demoted from P4 to P6, with Lindqvist and Teesing slipping past. Once again, Marcu and Malat are trading paint, dead level as they fight over second. Marcu has consolidated P3, with Lindqvist now in close pursuit, gap hovering around 0.8. Three cars stacked up around P2 once more, this time with Malat leading the queue. Mollet just ahead of Marcu again. The margin shrunk to roughly 0.4, still anyone's spot. Over at P7, three cars are locked together, with Turkey still setting the pace at the front. Mollet and Marcu side by side once more. The duel for second refuses to settle. And still they go at it. Mollet and Marcu dead level through the next sector. No separation yet. Malat and Marcu remain glued together, still wrestling over P2. The fight rolls on. Malat and Marcu side by side yet again. Mollet leads Marcu by roughly 0.4 in the scrap for second. Three cars stacked up around P2, with Malat at the front of the group. Mollet and Marcu go wheel to wheel for the runner-up spot. Marcu holds P3 from Lindqvist, the gap sitting near half a second. A five-car gaggle forms around P7. Hunt, the man at the head of it. Back to P2 and Mollet's lead over Marcu tightens to about 0.3. A calmer patch out on track, so we'll sit with race leader Williams and keep Mollet in the fray. And we're side by side again. Mollet and Marcu trading blows for second. Still nothing between them. Malat and Marcu running door to door. The duel rolls on. Malat and Marcu absolutely nose to nose. Malat just barely ahead of Marcu now. The gap down near 0.2. They line up side by side once more. Mulat and Marcu refusing to give an inch. Three-car train around P2, this time with Marcu the one dictating the pace. Marcu and Mulat throw it side by side as they squabble over second. Marcu clings to P3 ahead of Lindqvist, the margin around 0.2. Mollet is hanging on to P2, with Marcu tucked in just a couple of tenths behind, keeping the pressure relentless. Further back, Lindqvist leads Teesing by roughly 0.2s in a tight fight for P4. It's gone side by side now between Lindqvist and Teesing, door to door for P4. Teesing is now ahead of Cav in P5, but Cav is closing in to about 0.6 seconds. Once again, Lindqvist and Teesing are running side by side. This squabble for P4 showing no signs of cooling off. Down the order, there's a three-car pack around P7, with Garot at the front of the group. Back up at the front, Mulat still leads Marcu, the gap now stretching to roughly 0.4s. Lindqvist continues to hold P4 from Teesing, a slim 0.2's the margin. Teesing is still ahead of Cav, but the gap has tightened to about 0.2's. Cav is right there. The white flag is out for the race leader. Williams begins the final lap. Cav goes around Teesing to claim P5. Now Lindqvist leads the newly promoted Cav by about 0.2's, the fight rolling onto the final lap. It's turned into a three-car scrap around P4, with Lindqvist leading Cav and Teesing nose to tail. Mollet is still in P2 with Marcu close behind, gap just 0.2 seconds as they run to the line. Mollet and Marcu are side by side, racing right down to the checkered flag. Marcu and Mollet remain glued together, door to door, the P2 battle going right to the wire. Williams takes the win in P1. Mollett leads Marcu across the line as P2 and P3 finish together. Cav leads a tight group home as positions P4 through P8 all finish together. Hunt heads the next group across the line, P9 through P12 finishing in a close pack. Robertson wraps up his race in 13th place. Case crosses the line to claim 14th at the finish. And there it is. Williams takes the win in a dominant performance from the front.